Welcome to episode 46 of your CYSA Plus Prepcast. Today we turn our attention to a critical yet highly accessible cybersecurity discipline, open source threat intelligence collection, more commonly referred to as OSINT. Open source intelligence plays an indispensable role in modern threat detection and cybersecurity readiness, enabling analysts to gather vast amounts of data without the overhead or licensing costs associated with commercial intelligence platforms. Whether you're monitoring for early signs of an emerging exploit or scanning for organizational data leaks, mastering OSINT techniques prepares you not only for the CYSA Plus exam, but also for real-world incident readiness and strategic defense. Let's begin with a clear definition. Open source threat intelligence refers to publicly available data collected from non-classified sources, including websites, news outlets, public code repositories, blogs, social media, and government advisories. This data may be intentionally published, such as a vulnerability disclosure, or unintentionally leaked, such as exposed configuration files or improperly secured databases. What makes OSINT especially powerful is its accessibility. It allows analysts from organizations of any size to stay informed, improve their detection capabilities, and even discover threats before they materialize into full-blown incidents. One of OSINT's major advantages is cost efficiency. Unlike paid feeds or proprietary threat databases, OSINT data is freely available to anyone with the skills and tools to collect and analyze it. This makes it especially useful for smaller organizations, educational institutions, or public sector teams working with constrained budgets. Even large corporations use OSINT as a complementary intelligence source to validate paid feeds or uncover emerging issues that haven't yet made it into commercial intelligence databases. On the CYSA Plus exam, you may be asked to distinguish between open source and commercial intelligence types and when to apply each. Social media has become one of the richest and fastest moving sources of OSINT. Analysts often monitor platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, and Telegram for real-time announcements of new vulnerabilities, zero-day exploits, active threat campaigns, or confirmed breaches. Many threat actors leak stolen credentials or discuss attack techniques publicly, and researchers frequently post proof-of-concept code or attack indicators shortly after discovery. Analysts set up alerts, keyword trackers, or even automated monitoring scripts to detect these signals quickly. Expect exam scenarios that involve identifying useful OSINT from social feeds or assessing alert relevance. To find sensitive or misconfigured resources, analysts use advanced search techniques like Google dorking. This method involves crafting specific queries using operators such as file type, in URL, or site to locate exposed files, vulnerable pages, or open directories unintentionally indexed by search engines. For example, a search for backup files on public domains might reveal sensitive logs or credentials. These searches can surface potential threats or misconfigurations without violating access policies. The CYSA Plus exam may test your knowledge of safe and ethical use of advanced search queries for reconnaissance or discovery. Public cybersecurity forums, blogs, and developer platforms also offer tremendous intelligence value. Analysts track websites like GitHub, Pastebin, and Stack Exchange to identify posted exploit code, leaked credentials, or detailed vulnerability analyses. Many researchers use blogs to discuss new malware variants or document reverse engineering results. By reading these sources, analysts gain insight into how attacks are carried out, what systems are vulnerable, and what indicators to watch for. You may be asked to identify which forums or blog types are relevant for monitoring specific attack vectors. Government cybersecurity agencies are another cornerstone of OSINT. Organizations like the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CySA, NIST, and various national CERTs publish high-quality alerts, vulnerability disclosures, and mitigation recommendations. These advisories are typically vetted, structured, and high-confident. Analysts subscribe to bulletins or advisories via mailing lists, RSS feeds, or browser extensions to stay informed about patches, threat actor profiles, or emerging vulnerabilities. CYSA Plus scenarios often include intelligence bulletins, and you may need to assess the reliability or relevance of that intelligence. Analysts often use automation tools and frameworks to scale their OSINT collection efforts. Tools such as Maltego, Spiderfoot, and Shodan allow analysts to map threat relationships, uncover device exposures, and scan public internet-facing assets. These tools visualize relationships between IP addresses, domain names, open ports, or credentials found in data breaches. By centralizing and correlating this data, analysts can better assess organizational exposure and identify risk indicators. On the exam, you may be asked to choose tools that are most appropriate for OSINT analysis or asset discovery. Monitoring deep web and dark web forums, while still within the scope of OSINT, requires careful technique. These platforms often host leaked data, malware sales, or threat actor communications, yet some are publicly accessible without breaking legal or ethical boundaries. Analysts use third-party monitoring services or search engines that index dark web forums to gain visibility into cybercriminal activities. This helps anticipate threats such as ransomware campaigns, supply chain attacks, or planned DDoS operations. You may be tested on how OSINT differs when working with publicly accessible but obscure forums. Because OSINT data is not always curated or verified, validation is critical. Analysts must confirm findings through cross-referencing, triangulating multiple independent sources before acting. For instance, if a Twitter user posts a suspicious domain tied to phishing activity, analysts will verify whether other feeds report similar findings or whether logs show internal access attempts. OSINT is powerful, but its raw nature requires disciplined scrutiny. The CySA Plus exam may present intelligence that lacks clear verification, requiring you to decide whether to escalate, monitor, or discard the data. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. With a solid understanding of OSINT sources, including social media, government bulletins, blogs, and technical forums, we now shift our focus to how cybersecurity analysts integrate this intelligence into operational workflows. In this second half of the episode, we'll explore how to incorporate OSINT into automated security systems, ethical collection practices, validation procedures, collaborative intelligence sharing, and continuous refinement technique. These topics help turn raw, unstructured public data into high-value intelligence streams. Developing proficiency in these areas is not only essential for securing environments in real time, but is also directly tested on the CySA Plus exam. One of the most effective uses of OSINT is its integration into security information and event management platforms and threat intelligence aggregation tools. Analysts pull in OSINT feeds through APIs or curated alert channels and correlate external data with internal logs. For example, if an IP address is flagged in an OSINT feed as associated with botnet activity, SIM rules can generate alerts if any internal asset communicates with it. This automatic correlation transforms raw OSINT into actionable intelligence. On the exam, you may be asked how OSINT indicators are used to trigger security events or prioritize investigations. OSINT is not a one-time effort. It requires continuous monitoring. Threat actors and vulnerabilities evolve constantly, and publicly available data changes by the hour. Analysts build automated OSINT collection pipelines that include RSS feed monitoring, email digest parsing, or real-time API calls from intelligence platforms. These feeds populate dashboards or generate alerts that analysts can review and respond to. Continuously updating OSINT intake ensures you never miss emerging risks that haven't yet reached commercial databases. You may see CySA Plus questions on automating OSINT workflows and assessing which sources provide real-time relevance. Custom alerts and automated notifications help filter noise and prioritize attention. Analysts configure keyword monitors for phrases like zero-day, CVE, or data leak tied to their organization, vendors, or technologies. Social media platforms, code repositories, and paste sites are monitored using tools like TweetDeck, PyRSS aggregators, or custom Python scripts. These alerts surface only the most relevant content, allowing analysts to focus on intelligence that impacts their mission. Expect exam scenarios involving filtered OSINT intake and alert prioritization strategies. OSINT collection must always be ethical and legal. Analysts must ensure they are gathering only data that is publicly accessible and avoid breaching terms of service, user privacy, or data protection laws. This means no unauthorized access, no scraping of restricted systems, and no participation in closed or illegal forums. Compliance with organizational policies, national privacy laws, and responsible disclosure guidelines is non-negotiable. The CySA Plus exam often tests your knowledge of ethical intelligence collection and legal boundaries around data gathering. Proper documentation of OSINT findings ensures transparency and traceability. Analysts record where data was found, how it was validated, when it was collected, and what indicators were extracted. This allows for audit trails, incident report enrichment, and long-term intelligence tracking. Analysts also assign confidence levels and relevance scores to each piece of intelligence. On the exam, you may be asked to review an intelligence report and determine whether the documentation supports actionable decisions. Prioritizing OSINT intelligence is key to managing time and attention effectively. Not every tweet, domain, or hash is equally important. Analysts triage OSINT findings based on source credibility, indicator relevance, technical impact, and proximity to organizational assets. An IP address seen in ransomware attacks against your industry takes precedence over a suspicious but generic URL from an unknown forum. Automated scoring mechanisms within threat intelligence platforms often assist with this prioritization. Expect exam scenarios that ask how to score or rank indicators sourced from open feeds. Collaboration strengthens OSINT effectiveness. Analysts join information-sharing groups like ISACs or professional Slack channels, where vetted intelligence is exchanged. These communities allow analysts to compare findings, validate indicators, and stay informed on evolving attacker tactics. Crowdsourced OSINT pools can highlight vulnerabilities before they are indexed by commercial platforms. Participation in these communities also helps build professional trust and sharpens situational awareness. You may see CySA Plus questions about how intelligence sharing enhances early detection or confidence levels. Continual training is critical for maintaining OSINT proficiency. Search engine behavior changes, new data sources emerge, and threat actors evolve their concealment techniques. Analysts must regularly practice search logic, API integration, source verification, and emerging tool sets. Certifications, labs, and hands-on workshops ensure analysts remain responsive to current threats and reduce the risk of being overwhelmed by raw data. On the exam, you may be asked how analysts stay current with OSINT skills, or which practices ensure collection remains efficient and accurate. Refining OSINT workflows is a cyclical process. Feedback from incident response teams helps determine whether collected intelligence led to effective action. If a source frequently produces false positives, its weight is adjusted or replaced. If a particular feed consistently identifies real threats early, it is prioritized or automated further. Analysts iterate their queries, optimize scripts, and reevaluate tool configurations regularly. You may encounter exam questions about fine-tuning collection processes based on operational feedback. The final and perhaps most strategic value of OSINT is its predictive capacity. Instead of reacting to a breach, OSINT enables analysts to detect early warning signs, such as threat actors coordinating on forums, malware proof-of-concept code appearing online, or vulnerability exploits being sold. This foresight allows security teams to patch systems, update configurations, or adjust policies before attackers strike. Analysts who actively use OSINT not only close the response gap, but align security posture with the evolving threat landscape. Expect CySA Plus exam items focused on proactive threat detection through open-source intelligence. To summarize, Episode 46, OSINT empowers cybersecurity analysts to collect actionable intelligence, anticipate threats, and respond to incidents using freely available, legally obtained information. When validated and integrated properly, OSINT supports real-time detection, strategic forecasting, and enriched situational awareness. Developing this skill set is essential not only for passing the CySA Plus exam, but also for building scalable, responsive, and forward-looking cybersecurity operations in any organization. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.